He just received a Nelson Mandela Humanitarian Award for his efforts with criminal justice reform. We know he's been working with 𝗏𝗲. He has his own foundation. And the video that he actually had, the trophy was nice, like it's, clear joint. And I think this is dope because Meek has been, he's been big on prison reform for, ever since 2018, 2019. I know he partnered with Jay and Michael Rubin. They launched the Reform Alliance back in 2019. So his work, he stayed with Robert Kraft and all them types of dudes, hanging out with them. So he's really been out here and been vocal about that. But when I saw him get that award, which is dope for him, congratulations to him, it made me think about the other side of it from a perception standpoint, because we see Meek is on the surface, or however you want to call it, if you're not a hip-hop enthusiast, if you're a casual fan, Meek is a street guy. He raps about being in the streets. From the streets, he's from the trenches, he's from Philly. That's his angle, that's what he talk about. So with him receiving such a dope award, how do you guys look at that from an overall standpoint? Is it kind of like, well, this is dope that you received it, but it may be somewhat of a contradiction based off the type of music that you make? Like, am I overthinking that, or is it just we should separate one for being a dope award, him just being an artist and being an MC and doing what he does?
It's a dope award on both ends of the coin.
Go ahead.
For prison reform and for selling dope.
Okay.
No, I'm just saying.
So he's a legend in 2 games.
Right.
Definitely.
No, I mean, it represents a lot for Meek, in my personal opinion, because he's one of those individuals that have been in the prison system for a long time for something that probably should have been washed off his record within a year or two. And the court system or law system pretty much failed him. And we've pretty much seen it transpire for the most part. As far as what he raps about and things like that, is kind of a slippery slope.
Okay.
Because I don't think he raps from a place of I'm still doing that. It's kind of like how Jay said, 𝗏𝗲 did that, so hopefully you don't have to go through that type, telling you stories and things of that nature of maybe what happened or what's going on or what he went through. But I don't think he's still in a place where he's rapping about reckless things, so to speak. Maybe he is, but I mean, you live and you learn for the most part.
Yeah.
So I don't think it's not warranted that he should receive that award, because he's definitely somebody that could actually speak to people in that same situation and try to give them some light on what they need to do in order to get right and move on with their lives in a successful way.
I'm not mad at that. Lone, what you think?
I don't really have a comment on it. I don't really know. I mean, I really don't. Like, I don't have anything really to say on it.
You don't really follow Meek like that in the first place, though.
I don't know Meek's music.
Yeah.
I mean, the only thing that I really know about Meek is that is the stuff that kind of he went through last year.
Yeah.
And all the stuff Terry just talked about. But I mean, and I don't really have enough like a basis of understanding his music to really know if it's hypocritical or anything like that.
I can dig it.
I think it's cool that he's, if he's, or the stuff that he was doing for police reform and stuff like that, obviously it directly affected him. So he invested into it. But, as far as getting an award, that's cool. But,
yeah,
I don't really put a ton of stock into awards and all that stuff. So it doesn't really matter to me. So I don't know.
You've been consistent with that too. I remember we used to talk, we had our conversation of moons ago about the Grammys and what it would feel like, validation and awards and all that. So you've definitely always said that. That's true.
But even if I didn't always say that, I still feel that way. So
100%. Jay Moore, talk to me, man. Is there what you think?
Well, the thing is, they give you awards like that for the awareness you bring to things and maybe things that you're doing behind the scenes. So, regardless of what he talks about as music or the perception of what he talks about in his music, because once again, when we talked a couple of episodes about the whole thing the baby was going through, it's not about your intention, but a lot of times this is about other people's perception. And I don't think that really played a lot into him getting this award. you know, he's probably doing things that we have no idea about because there are no cameras around. You know, maybe the money he's put up for actually funding these organizations, you know, or the things or the people he's been able to talk to and influence. You know, like when you can bring in somebody like Michael Rubin, who runs the 76ers, or Robert Kraft, people whose lives are extremely far away from the reality of what happens in the streets of South Philly. And if you can get those type of people to become engaged, and you can get them to not only become engaged, but maybe start to writing checks and raising awareness, because unfortunately, you know, if it's, you know, just a black kid from, you know, from Philadelphia, you know, and somebody like Jay-Z, who for a lot of people just see him as, you know, a black kid from, you know, Brooklyn. Okay, they're only going to pay so much attention to it. But if you can get Robert Kraft,
that changes
to say, you know, then maybe he's more aware because he's had his own issues with the law in the past year or so.
Perhaps.
But you know, I mean, you're talking about Michael Rubin. You know, I mean, fanatics. Like even if you don't know about his involvement with the 76ers, the fact that like basically every piece of sports paraphernalia that you can buy through the NCAA, NFL, NHL, and MLB all comes through Fanatics website now. Mm-hmm. You know, these are people with real
major players.
These are people with real influence, and if you can get them to care, and you know the people that they're in rooms with to care, then you know what? If that's how they determined, and like I said, I don't know the criteria. You know, I didn't go into all that, but you know, I'm just thinking on a level of, you know, what ifs and probablys. Yeah. You know, if you can get people like that to care, whose lives are so far away from, you know, the inequities of the justice, you know, the criminal justice system in America, and especially how it affects black and brown people, then you know what? He probably does deserve that award, because, you know, sometimes it's not even about writing checks. It's about who you can influence to be aware of the problem, and then you can expand that influence and really make change.
I think it's you know, I thought about it just from a standpoint of, you know, sometimes we try to separate the music versus what somebody does outside of, you know, the craft or whatever. But I think on its face value, I think it's dope because it shows you that, you know, in the midst of you being an artist or whatever you rap about, talk about, whatever, there's still ways that you can impact, like you can really impact the community and be genuine about it. And with Meek, it just seems genuine to me. Like, it doesn't seem pressed. I think he's built the relationships that you talked about, and I think it was legit. You know what I'm saying? I think, you know, sitting back watching him doing this, it just gives me a positive vibe. Like, I think it's well deserved, because I know he started the foundation. I kind of watched it grow, and watched him grow too after all the stuff that he'd been through. Because, you know, dude got an interesting story, and for him to be able to get to this point, I think it's a good look for hip hop. It's a good look for, you know, artists that might be cut from that cloth to be like, yo, at the end of the day, you see Meek is out here really trying to have impact in something outside of music. And, you know, I can respect that. You know what I'm saying? I just thought, you know, it might, there's certain people that might say, well, he raps about this and that. Like, you know,
there are always going to be detractors, especially when you get, you know, when someone sees you get something, they'll be like, well, they could have gave this to somebody else. It's like, yeah, but you know what? They gave it to him. Yeah. There's always somebody who they're going to say, oh, well, he should have, you should have gave it to him. Who else are
they going to give this to at this point in time? Kim Kardashian?
Yeah. I mean, and plus you want to, like, let's just be honest. These organizations need to give it to somebody who's going to you could give it to some community organizer. Right. But that's not going to generate the headlines, good or bad. Right. So if you give it to, you know, so-and-so over here who works with works for free, you know, legal defense funds, could he deserve it? Yes, he does. But, and you could give him that award, but we wouldn't be talking about it right now.
Right.
That's a good point.
And that's education in itself, being able to give someone of his level of fame an award, and people that may not have been interested in prison reform see that and in turn
and plus
get involved in it.
If you saw the Free Meek documentary on Amazon, which I know people who, like, I remember when Spools was like, I just don't get all this, but then he watched it and was like, oh yeah, they really ran this kid through the ringer for almost no reason, you know, just because they could, you know. So
it's almost extortion.
Well, I mean, a lot of what you know, it's about generating money. Like a lot of times, you know, when you start reading and this is the thing, when you start reading, it drives you crazy because you see how wrong things are.
Yeah.
You know, when you see like, okay, like in the whole situation that happened in Ferguson a few years ago, you know, basically, and it's in every 5 or 10 minutes, sometimes when you drive in St. Louis County, it's a different city. So it'd be like if we were here and all of a sudden like Broad Ripple had its own police force. You know, but it's like that in St. Louis to where like they have their own little police force, and the way they generate money, because of course no one wants to say we're raising taxes, is you pull people over and you give them $500 tickets for jaywalking.
That's tough.
You know, and you know what, that ticket is not $500 in places that have let's just say tax bases that are more substantial. In fact, they wouldn't even give you a ticket for jaywalking. But you know, if you're in these small little towns where you know, they're basically fundraising off of people, you know, who are just trying to get up and go to work every day.
That's a lot of money for
jaywalking ticket. Yes, it's a lot of money, and that's where the problems start.
I don't know about y'all, but I'm paying for that ticket. Not trying to go to the hole.
Yeah,
all right,
you in this hole.
So,
yeah, first of all,
listen.
Here y'all go, man. Why can't we just
you
go
stop,
ahead?
you need to stop? You need to stop watching Oz.
Yeah, you skip booking, processing, and everything. Just go straight to the hole.
They're right.
Oh, they're right.
Just think they're gonna do you like Malcolm X's if you got a traffic ticket.
Did y'all see?
If I get a $500 jaywalking ticket, I am absolutely fighting that some way.
I'm gonna pay it because I don't want to go to
I ain't
the hole.
going to the hole. Y'all saw Malcolm X. Red August, they acting like they ain't seen Malcolm X.
You can't prove it.
Yeah. They saw Malcolm X, Red August. Terry saw it. Whatever, man. All right.
Okay.
Malcolm X, Glory, you know.
Yeah. No, Glory, no.
Everything's
don't
based
do that.
on a movie.
Yeah.
Glory,
all your arguments are based on Denzel Washington movies. You gotta do better than this.
Yeah.
Yo,
not real life situations.
I'm just saying,
but
man.
Movies.
We know what we talked about with Denzel. I was right.
You were wrong.
In Glory.
No,
and
you weren't.
I definitely was right.
No, you're doing that thing Trump does right now.
No, I'm not. I was right. I was right.
I was right. I was right.
We know I was right. I was right.
I won bigly.
We won bigly tonight.
I don't know what is going through your head right now to make you think that you won that conversation.
I mean, I saw the movie. He the one that thought.
Yeah, but I watched the conversation online, and no, you did not win that.
Okay.
All right. So,
and he's not even related
I wouldn't even
to
hear
it.
for
all
that.
I'm gonna say is this, and then we go to the next topic. Terry said
it doesn't matter.
Biscuits and gravy was not mentioned in Glory.
That's
wrong.
That was not the main.
That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. But that's all I'm saying. All right.
The deflection at his finest.
Yeah.
Let's go.
You got to get into politics.
We call that a straw man argument.
No, it's not. He said that though. That's what he said.
Yeah.
Run you on the city council. You probably help make sure they don't get nothing done.
Straight up.
All right, man. Let's get to this
What
last.
do you mean
topic.
you want higher taxes? Taxes don't even exist in biscuits and gravy.
They don't.
Yeah, exactly.
At all.
Oh, they gonna tax my biscuits and gravy?
Yeah.
I vote no.
He said it wasn't no white lady that was making it. Like lying.
That's not what I said.
If you've enjoyed this segment of the New Old Heads podcast, make sure you join our live show every Tuesday from 9 to 11 p.m. Eastern on twitch.tv/newoldheads. You can also catch playback of all of our shows on any podcast app and youtube.com/newoldheadsnetwork. And go to newoldheads.com/community to join our Discord.